there is a secret the wealthy rarely share, not because they are hiding it, but because most wouldn't believe it if they did. The truth is simple. Wealth is not first earned, it is imagined. You become rich the moment you feel rich. The world outside you is only ever a mirror. It reflects what you truly believe within. This is why some people struggle for decades, working hard and staying broke. They believe in the struggle more than the success. They believe in limitation more than abundance. But here's the secret the millionaires know. It is your consciousness that draws wealth to you, not your labor. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Walk as though you already possess the bank account you desire. Speak with the confidence of one who is financially secure. Rest in the peace of knowing it is already done. Do not chase money. When you chase it, you affirm you do not have it. Instead, be still. Become the magnet. Money flows to the one who is already what they seek to become. Every assumption you accept as true begins to move the unseen forces of reality. You don't need to know how it will happen. That is not your job. Your only work is to construct the end result in your mind and to feel it real. Let others hustle and worry. You will imagine and receive. You are always creating. Every idle word, every casual thought is shaping your financial destiny. If you say, I can't afford this, then you have spoken your command. But if you say, all things flow to me easily, the world will rearrange itself to obey. So speak boldly, imagine vividly, feel abundantly. Your wealth begins not in the stock market, not in your job, not in your business, but in your assumption. This is the millionaire's secret. It is not money that makes the mind rich. It is the rich mind that makes the money come. Wealth does not begin in the bank account. It begins in the unseen realm of your inner world. What you hold in your imagination, what you entertain as true in your mind, eventually must take form in your life. This is a principle as certain as the rising of the sun. Every dollar you have ever earned, every opportunity that came your way, every investment that multiplied, it all had its beginning in the invisible thoughts you accepted as real. Most people look to their circumstances to decide what they are. They check their wallet, they read their bank statement, and from that they form their identity. But that is the great illusion. You are not what your wallet says. You are what you believe you are. And if you dare to believe you are already wealthy, even when the world gives no evidence of it, you have planted the seed of fortune. You must understand that imagination is not a child's game, it is the workshop of creation. It is the spiritual womb where the unseen becomes seen. When you imagine something with feeling, when you see yourself already living in abundance, already walking in freedom, already enjoying the ease that comes with wealth, you are moving yourself into the state that makes wealth inevitable. The world cannot resist the inner vision of one who refuses to break their assumption. But you cannot simply imagine once and forget. You must inhabit the state, you must live from it, you must speak from it, you must respond to life as if you already are who you wish to be. Do not say, one day I'll be rich. Say instead, I am already living in my wealth. That may sound strange at first, especially when your physical eyes show lack. But remember, everything seen was first unseen. Everything you now touch was once only a thought in someone's mind. So why would you trust your current conditions more than your imagination? Feel rich now, not next week, not when the check arrives, not when the loan is approved or the business takes off. Right now, in this moment. Close your eyes and see yourself walking into your dream home, paying for anything with ease, giving to others without fear. Feel the texture of the life you desire. That is where wealth is born. Not in the marketplace, but in the mind. The truth is, you are always imagining. Most simply imagine poverty, fear, and lack. They rehearse it over and over. I can't afford that. I never have enough. I'm struggling. and then they wonder why life doesn't change. They've been loyal to a vision of lack. But you can change your allegiance. You can decide right now to be loyal to a new vision, one of ease, luxury, and overflow. And here is the miracle. Once you persist in this inner wealth, the outer world must comply. It may come through unexpected channels. A new connection, a forgotten opportunity, a change in someone else's decision, all will conspire to match your inner state. This is law. So stop asking when money will come. Ask instead, what am I assuming about myself? If you feel rich, the world cannot stop your riches. If you feel abundant, you will be led to every opportunity, every idea, every resource you need to fulfill that state. The seed of wealth is already within you. The mind is the soil. Your imagination is the water. Your feelings are the sun, and when you nurture it faithfully, it cannot help but grow. The world may call it coincidence. You will know it as truth. You must feel rich before riches arrive, because the world is only echoing your own inner reality. Change the cause, and the effect must follow. The imagination is the beginning of all wealth. Believe it now, and you will see it. The most powerful truth you can understand is that wealth is not something that happens to you. It is something you claim. And you claim it not by the actions you take, but by the state you assume. To experience true financial freedom, you must first embody it in your mind and emotions. The moment you assume the state of wealth, truly feel it within yourself, you have already unlocked the door to it. This idea may seem paradoxical to many. After all, aren't we told that we must work hard, make smart financial decisions, and hustle to achieve financial success? Yes, those actions are part of the equation, but they are secondary to the power of assumption. You see, the world is governed by a law far more powerful than effort, the law of assumption. When you assume a state of being, whether it's wealth, health, or any other quality, you activate a force that begins to shape your external world to reflect what you have internally accepted as true. To assume the feeling of financial freedom means to live and think as though you are already wealthy. It's not just a mental exercise, it's an emotional one as well. Wealth is not just a number in a bank account. It is a vibration, a way of being, a feeling that permeates your entire existence. If you do not feel wealthy, regardless of your current financial situation, you are keeping yourself from experiencing the riches that are waiting for you. This is where many people get stuck. They look at their current circumstances, their bank account balance, their debts, their job, and they allow those things to define them. They say, when I have enough money, then I'll feel financially free. But that is not how it works. You must feel financially free first, and then the money will follow. The moment you step into the feeling of financial freedom, the feeling of abundance and ease, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive. This is not a momentary thought. It's a shift in your entire consciousness. To assume the state of wealth means to think like the wealthy, speak like the wealthy, and most importantly, feel like the wealthy. It is the feeling of having no need to worry, no need to scramble for opportunities, no need to fear lack. It's the deep-seated belief that you are already provided for, that you are already living in abundance. To embody this feeling, close your eyes and imagine yourself living in your ideal life. Imagine the freedom, the ease, the luxury of knowing that you are financially free. Feel it in your body. Feel the peace, the joy, the gratitude that comes with that state of being. Allow that feeling to expand until it fills you completely. Do not wait for circumstances to change in order to feel this way. Feel it now. The power of this practice is that once you assume this state, you begin to attract the circumstances, opportunities, and people that align with your new internal reality. The key to wealth is not in the doing, it's in the being. Once you embody the state of financial freedom, the actions you take will naturally align with that state. Opportunities will present themselves, ideas will flow, and you will find that the resources you need are already available to you. The state of wealth will draw everything you need toward you. Assuming the feeling of financial freedom is the ultimate key to claiming your wealth. It is the secret that separates those who struggle with money from those who flow in it effortlessly. The moment you feel wealthy, you have already claimed the riches you desire. And the universe, which works in perfect harmony with your thoughts and feelings, will begin to reflect that assumption in your life. The state of wealth is not a future event, it is a present reality. Assume it now, and you will see the doors of financial freedom open before you. Money is not an object, nor is it something you need to chase. It is energy, an invisible force that flows to those who align with it. Too often, people believe that they must work tirelessly, hustle endlessly, and struggle to get money. They see money as something outside of themselves, something to be captured and seized, but this mindset is flawed. In reality, money is attracted, not pursued. The key to financial abundance lies not in chasing money, but in learning how to align with the energy of wealth. Think of money as a current of energy that flows through the world. Just like any other form of energy, it follows the laws of attraction. You cannot chase it in the same way you would chase after a person or an object. If you try to chase after money, you are essentially pushing against its natural flow. It becomes elusive, just out of reach. Money will always evade you when you desperately seek it because you are projecting a vibration of lack, of wanting something you believe you don't have. You must shift your perspective. Recognize that money is already available to you. It is all around you. It is simply a matter of aligning with it, vibrating at the same frequency, and allowing it to flow toward you. Money is not a scarce resource. The universe is abundant, and there is more than enough to go around. The only thing that prevents you from receiving it is your belief that it is not available to you, or that you must chase after it to make it yours. When you align with the energy of money, you shift your mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. You stop seeing money as something you need to pursue or fight for. Instead, you see it as a natural flow that you can tap into. The more you align with this flow, the more money comes to you effortlessly. It's about being open to receiving, being willing to trust that the universe is always providing what you need at the perfect time. To align with the energy of money, you must first change the way you think about it. Begin by releasing any negative beliefs or fears about money. If you think money is hard to come by, if you feel that you are always struggling to get it, or if you believe that wealth is for others but not for you, you are not aligning with the energy of money. You are blocking it. Start by focusing on abundance in all areas of your life. Appreciate the wealth you already have, the love, the health, the opportunities, the relationships. When you focus on abundance, you invite more of it into your life. The more you feel gratitude for what you already have, the more you will attract. Money follows the energy of gratitude. When you are thankful for what you have, you signal to the universe that you are ready for more. Another way to align with money's energy is by cultivating a sense of ease around it. Wealth is not something you need to stress over. It is not something you need to force. Money is attracted to those who are at peace with it, those who understand that it flows easily when they allow it. When you stop worrying about how to get it or when it will arrive, you make space for it to come to you effortlessly. Trust the process and trust that the money you desire is already on its way to you. You must also recognize that money is a reflection of the value you bring to the world. When you focus on serving others, on providing value, money will naturally follow. Money is drawn to value, whether it's through products, services, or simply your presence. The more value you provide, the more money will flow to you. And as you focus on adding value, you will naturally find yourself in the right places, meeting the right people, and seizing the right opportunities. To align with the energy of money, let go of the need to chase it, instead become magnetic to it. Shift your mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. Trust that money is always available, always flowing, and always willing to be drawn to you. When you stop chasing money and start aligning with its energy, it will come to you effortlessly, just as all things that are meant for you do. The more you relax into the flow, the more it will flow to you. The energy of money will always be drawn to those who allow it to come naturally. Every moment of your life is an act of creation. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly shaping your reality. Your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are the architects of your world. The wealth you experience, both material and otherwise, stems not from the outside world, but from within you. It is born from the inner assumptions you hold, whether those assumptions are conscious or unconscious. We tend to think that our circumstances determine who we are. We look at the world around us and we assume that what we see is fixed and unchangeable. We believe that our wealth or lack of it is a direct result of external factors such as the economy, our upbringing, or the job market. But this is a misunderstanding. What we see in the outer world is merely a reflection of our inner world. And that reflection is constantly being created and shaped by our assumptions. Your inner assumptions are the key to everything. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are always assuming something about yourself, about money, and about life in general. If you assume that you are wealthy, that money flows easily to you, or that abundance is natural for you, then that assumption becomes your reality. But if you assume that you struggle with money, that it is hard to come by, or that you are not deserving of wealth, then those assumptions will also become your reality. The most powerful part of this truth is that you are always creating, whether you are doing so consciously or unconsciously. If you are consciously aware of your thoughts and assumptions, you can deliberately shape your reality. You can choose to assume abundance, prosperity, and ease, and the universe will reflect that back to you. But if you are unaware of the assumptions you are holding, if you are constantly thinking about lack, struggle, and limitation, then those unconscious beliefs will create a reality that reflects those thoughts. We are all born with a natural ability to create. As children, we imagined freely, believing that anything was possible. We created worlds in our minds, and those worlds felt just as real as the one we could touch. Somewhere along the way, we were taught to stop imagining. We were told that we had to be realistic, to conform to the limitations of the physical world. But this is not the truth. The truth is that your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess, and it is the source of all creation. The wealth you do or don't have is not determined by the world, but by your inner assumptions. If you hold an assumption that wealth is difficult to attain, that money is scarce, or that only certain people are worthy of abundance, then those assumptions will shape your reality. You will be unable to see opportunities for wealth, and the flow of money will be blocked. On the other hand, if you assume that wealth is natural for you, that you are deserving of it, and that it is easy for you to attract, then those assumptions will draw wealth to you. The power of assumption is that it works whether you believe in it or not. If you assume something, it becomes true for you. It's not about what is happening in the physical world. It's about what you are assuming to be true in your inner world. The world cannot give you what you do not believe you deserve. The key to unlocking the wealth that already exists for you is to change your assumptions. So how do you begin to create wealth consciously? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to your thoughts and assumptions about money. What do you believe about wealth? Do you believe that money is hard to come by? Do you believe that you are not deserving of abundance? Or do you believe that money flows easily to you, that you are always provided for, and that wealth is natural to you? Once you become aware of your assumptions, you can begin to change them. Begin imagining the life you desire, seeing yourself already living in abundance. Feel the emotions of wealth, peace, ease, freedom. Allow those feelings to fill you completely. As you assume the feeling of wealth, your assumptions will shift, and your outer world will begin to reflect those new assumptions. You are always creating, consciously or unconsciously. The wealth you experience is a direct result of your inner assumptions. So take control of your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Change the story you are telling yourself about money, and the world will change to match your new assumptions. The life you desire is already within you. It simply needs to be revealed through your conscious creation. The path to manifesting your desires often seems unclear because the world is fixated on the how. Everyone is searching for the secret formula, the step-by-step guide to making their dreams come true. But here's the truth. The how is not your concern. The key to unlocking what you truly desire lies in focusing on the end result, not the methods or processes. When you release the need to control how something will manifest and instead fully embrace the outcome in your mind, you align with the natural flow of the universe. The power lies in living from the end, not in worrying about how it will unfold. The majority of people are consumed by the how of their desires. They obsess over the actions they need to take, the strategies they must implement, and the steps they must follow. While taking inspired action is important, it is secondary to the more crucial step of aligning with the end result first. When you focus on the how, you are reinforcing the belief that you do not already possess what you desire. You are telling yourself that there's something missing, that you are not yet in possession of your goal, and that you need a series of actions to bridge the gap. This belief keeps you stuck in a cycle of lack. Detach from the how and shift your focus entirely to the end result. Imagine for a moment that you already have what you desire. What does that feel like? How does it change the way you walk, talk, and interact with the world? When you focus on the end result, you are stepping into the feeling of already having it. You are living from the end, not from the current circumstances or the steps needed to reach the goal. This shift in focus is powerful because it brings you into alignment with the feeling of success. It is the feeling, not the specific actions, that determines your results. The universe does not work in a linear way with a series of actions that must be performed in a specific order. Instead, it works in accordance with your inner state. When you feel as though your desire is already yours, you create the conditions for it to manifest naturally. Think of it this way. Imagine a painter who begins with the finished picture in mind. The artist sees the completed painting in their mind before they even touch the brush to the canvas. This vision is so vivid that it guides the entire process. The painter does not concern themselves with how to paint each stroke in advance. Instead, they trust that by aligning with the vision of the completed piece, the steps will unfold as needed. The same applies to you. Once you have the end result clearly defined in your mind, the universe will guide you in the most effortless ways to bring it into reality. Energy of abundance. Focusing on the end result also removes the feeling of urgency and desperation. When you are overly concerned with how and when things will manifest, you create an energy of lack and neediness. This contradicts the vibration of abundance that must accompany the manifestation process. When you live from the end result, you embody the certainty that what you desire is already yours. There is no rush because you already have it. This feeling of certainty is magnetic. It draws your desires toward you without struggle or force. This principle works in all areas of life, not just material wealth. Whether you desire financial success, a loving relationship, personal growth, or health, you must first imagine yourself already experiencing these things. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel it in your body. Act as though it is already done. When you do this, you shift your energy from one of lack to one of abundance. You align with the end result and allow the universe to work its magic. The how is not for you to figure out. The universe has an infinite number of ways to deliver what you desire, ways that you could never possibly predict or control. When you let go of the need to plan every step, you make space for the miraculous to occur. Trust that by living from the end result, everything will unfold with ease, and the how will reveal itself in the most perfect and surprising ways. Detach from the how and focus solely on the end result. Create the end result in your inner world first, and live from that place. In doing so, you will align yourself with the flow of the universe and allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. You are not creating by force, but by alignment, and that is where true power lies. Every word you speak is a powerful seed that carries with it the potential to shape your reality. The universe does not distinguish between positive and negative words. Whatever you speak, you plant into the fertile soil of your life. Your words are a reflection of your thoughts and beliefs, and they act as the blueprint for your future experiences. When you speak words of wealth, success, and abundance, you are sowing the seeds of these qualities in your life. On the other hand, when you speak words of lack, poverty, or struggle, you are planting those same conditions into your world. Words are not simply sounds or expressions. They are vibrations that carry energy. Every word you speak resonates with the frequency, and that frequency attracts similar energies into your life. If you speak of your financial struggles, if you talk about how difficult it is to make ends meet, you are reinforcing the belief in your mind that scarcity is your reality. Your words are affirming the lack that you are experiencing. By focusing on these negative thoughts and speaking them into existence, you are only perpetuating the cycle of poverty in your life. The opposite is also true. If you consistently speak words of abundance, prosperity, and financial freedom, you are planting the seeds of those qualities in your world. When you speak about wealth as if it is already yours, you are aligning your energy with the flow of abundance. You are making space for the universe to bring those things into your life. Wealth is not just a physical object. It is a state of mind. And your words are a direct reflection of the state of mind you choose to cultivate. The words you use have a direct impact on your subconscious mind. Your subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you tell it. When you speak about wealth, prosperity, and success, you are programming your subconscious to believe that these qualities are part of your reality. The more you speak of these things, the more your mind begins to accept them as truth, and the more your external reality begins to shift to match your inner belief. It's not enough to simply say the words. You must believe them with every fiber of your being. When you speak of wealth, speak it with confidence and conviction, as though it is already yours. The energy behind your words is just as important as the words themselves. When you speak with certainty, the universe responds by bringing those desires into your life. On the other hand, if you speak with doubt or hesitation, your words lose their power. You must speak only what you wish to manifest, and you must do so with full belief that your words are already shaping your reality. Another important aspect of speaking your desires into existence is consistency. Just as a seed needs time to grow, so too do your spoken words need time to manifest. You cannot speak words of wealth one day and words of lack the next and expect the same results. To truly plant the seeds of abundance, you must be consistent in your speech. Every day speak words that affirm your desire for prosperity, and every day watch as the universe begins to respond to your consistent energy. This does not mean that you should ignore your current reality or pretend that problems do not exist. Acknowledge your present situation, but do not dwell on it. Speak of your current circumstances with the understanding that they are temporary and that change is on the horizon. By focusing your words on the future you desire, you begin to shift your energy away from lack and toward abundance. The power of your words extends beyond just what you speak about wealth. It applies to every area of your life. If you want to manifest love, health, or success, the same principle applies. Speak only of what you wish to experience. Speak of yourself as healthy, successful, and loved, and those experiences will begin to take root in your life. Speak of your desires as if they are already happening, and you will create the conditions for them to manifest. Your words are one of the most powerful tools you have for creating your reality. Speak only what you wish to manifest, and be mindful of the seeds you are planting with every thought and every word. The universe is always listening, and it is ready to bring your desires into fruition when you align your speech with your deepest desires. So, speak abundance, speak wealth, speak success, and watch as those words begin to take root and grow into your reality. In conclusion, the path to manifesting your desires and achieving the wealth and success you seek begins with the realization that you are the creator of your reality. Every thought, assumption, and word you speak plants a seed in the fertile soil of your life. By focusing on the end result, assuming the feelings of financial freedom, and speaking only what you wish to manifest, you align yourself with the abundant flow of the universe. You no longer chase after your desires, but instead you draw them to you by living from the end and trusting that everything you need will unfold in perfect timing. Your words and inner assumptions are the powerful forces that shape your world. By consciously choosing to speak wealth, believe in your own abundance, and trust the process, you begin to unlock the doors to your true potential. Thank you for taking the time to listen. May you go forth with a renewed sense of power and purpose, knowing that your desires are already on their way to you. Stay mindful of your thoughts, words, and actions, and trust that the universe is always conspiring in your favor. Be still, listen. Something beyond the scene is unfolding in your life. It does not matter how things appear in this moment, a divine shift is already in motion. You, the chosen one, are standing on the edge of a breakthrough that will change everything. You have prayed, you have waited, but I tell you now, the time of waiting is over. The moment you decide with unwavering faith that what you desire is already yours, the doors swing open. God does not hesitate. The delay was never his doing, but the process of aligning your heart with what was always destined for you. Miracles are not random acts. They are the natural order of those who understand the truth. You are not separate from your desires. They have been placed in your heart because they are already yours. The illusion of struggle, the weight of uncertainty, these things vanish the moment you step into the knowing. Not hoping, not wishing, but knowing. That is the moment when everything changes. That is the moment when your miracle reveals itself not as something coming to you, but as something that has been waiting for you to recognize it was always here. The chosen do not beg, the chosen do not chase, the chosen declare, and it is so. Right now, speak to your miracle. Call it forth, not as if it is distant, but as if it is already within you, because it is. Your shift is happening now. The divine has already spoken. The only question is, will you step into it? Will you claim it? A miracle is here, not tomorrow, not next year, now. You are the chosen. Stand in it, receive it, and watch as the world bends to match your belief. What you see before you is not the final story. The life you have lived up until this moment is merely a reflection of your past assumptions, your past beliefs, your past emotions. But something greater is happening now, beyond what your senses can perceive. A divine shift is unfolding behind the scenes, rearranging reality in ways you cannot yet comprehend. And the key to stepping into this transformation lies within you. It is your faith. Faith is not a passive hope. It is not a wish that things might change someday. Faith is the firm conviction that what you desire, what you have longed for, is already yours. It is not something you wait for, it is something you accept. The moment you embrace this truth, your world begins to shift to match your conviction. But as long as you continue to believe only in what your eyes see, as long as you define your future by your present circumstances, you remain bound by the same reality. The world you see is only a mirror reflecting your past state of being, and if you keep reacting to it, you simply reinforce the same story. But I tell you now, look beyond appearances. Understand that what seems unchanging, what seems immovable, is only an illusion sustained by your own belief in it. The moment you stop giving power to what you see and start giving power to what you know within, the shift begins. Perhaps you have been waiting for a sign, waiting for confirmation, waiting for proof before you believe. But the proof will not come first. The belief must come first. The unseen is far more powerful than the seen, for the seen world is always the result of an inner cause. If you continue to search for evidence outside of you, you are missing the very force that creates the evidence, your inner world. The divine does not delay. What you have asked for, what you have been seeking, is already unfolding. The process is not happening outside of you, it is happening through you. Reality is not something fixed that happens to you, it is something fluid that happens because of you. If you shift your inner state, reality has no choice but to shift with it. You must begin to move with the awareness that the change has already happened. Do not look to your past to tell you who you are. Do not look to your current circumstances to determine what is possible. Begin to live from the place where your desire is fulfilled. Walk, speak, and think as one who already has it, because the moment you fully accept it in your mind, the unseen forces of life begin to work in your favor. But here is where many falter. They affirm their desires one moment, but then they look around and see no evidence of change. Doubt creeps in. They question whether it is truly working. And in that moment of doubt, they undo the very process that was already in motion. The shift was happening, but their impatience, their need for immediate validation pulled them back into the old state. You must persist. You must hold firm even when nothing appears to be changing. Because I tell you, the moment you accept something as true within, the shift has begun. It may be happening in ways unseen, but it is happening. Every great transformation begins in the invisible before it becomes visible. You do not plant a seed and demand to see a tree the next day. You trust that the process is unfolding beneath the surface, even when there is no outward sign. And just as surely as that seed will break through the soil in its appointed time, so too will your new reality emerge if you hold your faith unwavering. The divine shift is already happening for you. What you once believed was impossible is becoming inevitable. But you must choose to stand in the knowing, not in the waiting. You must decide right now that the old story no longer has power over you. The moment you do, life begins to rearrange itself. People, circumstances, and opportunities start to move in ways you could never have planned. Doors that seemed closed forever suddenly open. Paths you never considered begin to reveal themselves. But this will only happen when you stop doubting, stop hesitating, and step fully into the certainty that it is already done. It does not matter what has happened in the past. It does not matter how long you have struggled. The moment you shift within, everything begins to shift without. Time bends to meet your belief. Reality molds itself to match your conviction. And all that is required of you is to stand firm in the unseen truth, even before the world reflects it back to you. This is the secret of those who have transformed their lives. They did not wait for evidence. They became the evidence. They carried themselves as those who already had what they desired, and in doing so, they allowed reality to catch up. They did not chase, they did not struggle, they did not beg, they simply became. And as they did, the world conformed. This is your moment. This is your shift. The old story is fading, the new one is already here. All that is left for you to do is to accept it, to walk in it, and to know, beyond any doubt, that what you have sought has already been given. The divine has already spoken. Now it is your turn to believe. There is a vast difference between hoping for something and knowing it is already done. Hope carries within it an element of doubt, a quiet whisper that says maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. But knowing is absolute. Knowing does not waver, does not second guess, does not look for reassurance. It simply stands firm, unshaken, because it has already accepted the reality of the thing desired. Most people live in a state of hoping. They wish for miracles, they pray for change, they look to the outside world for signs that what they seek is coming, but in doing so they remain in a state of lack, unknowingly reinforcing the very absence of what they desire. For to hope is to declare, I do not yet have it. To wish is to affirm it is still beyond me, and as long as this is the dominant belief, the miracle remains just out of reach. Always a possibility, but never a certainty. But there are those who move differently. They do not hope, they know. They do not wait for signs, they are the sign. They understand that miracles do not come from pleading or chasing. Miracles unfold naturally for those who accept in their innermost being that what they desire is already theirs. They do not ask repeatedly, they do not check for progress. They rest in the confidence that it is done. And this is where the shift happens. The moment you stop hoping and start knowing, everything around you begins to change. The external world is always a reflection of the internal state. And when you truly accept something as your reality, life has no choice but to conform. It is not a matter of if, it is simply a matter of alignment. Consider the nature of creation itself. Everything that exists first began in the unseen. The tallest buildings, the greatest works of art, the most profound inventions, they were first ideas, held in the mind of their creators as absolute certainties before they took form in the physical world. No one creates while doubting. The architect does not question whether the building will exist. The painter does not wonder if the masterpiece will appear. They begin with the end already complete in their mind, and so the process of bringing it forth becomes inevitable. Your life operates under the same principle. The moment you claim something is already done, the forces of life begin to arrange themselves to make it so. This is why the one who knows will always be ahead of the one who merely hopes. Because knowing is the language of creation. It carries authority. It does not seek, it declares. It does not wish, it embodies. And when you reach this state, you no longer concern yourself with how things will unfold. You do not entertain questions of when or if. Those who know do not micromanage the process. They simply live in the end, knowing that the unseen is always working in their favor. But here is where many falter. They affirm their desires for a moment, but then they check their circumstances for evidence. And if nothing seems to change immediately, they fall back into doubt. This is where most lose their way. Because what they fail to understand is that the moment they know, the shift has already begun. The evidence does not appear first, the conviction does. And those who hold firm without wavering are the ones who see the unseen. You must stop seeking and start believing. Stop looking for confirmation outside of you and become the confirmation within you. Walk, speak, and think as one who already has it. Because the moment you fully accept it as done, it is. Life bends to match your certainty. There are those who will tell you that you need to work harder, to try more, to struggle and prove yourself worthy. But I tell you, the true power lies in knowing. The moment you stop chasing, stop doubting, stop questioning, and simply step into the reality of your desire, everything changes. Have you not seen it in the world? Those who carry themselves as if they are already successful seem to attract success effortlessly. Those who believe they are loved without question always seem to find love surrounding them. This is not coincidence. It is the natural order of things. The world does not give to those who beg. It gives to those who expect, to those who have already claimed their portion without hesitation. So today I ask you, where do you stand? Are you still hoping? Are you still waiting for proof? Or are you ready to step into the knowing? Because the moment you do, your reality will begin to shift. The miracle is not coming, it is already here. It is not something you need to convince the universe to give you. It is something you need to accept as already yours. The power has never been outside of you. It has never been in the hands of fate or circumstances. It has always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it. And the moment you stop seeking and start believing, the miracle is no longer a possibility. What you are facing right now, the struggles, the obstacles, the delays, are not real in the way you believe them to be. They are not permanent. They are not unchangeable. They are merely shadows cast by the doubts and fears you once entertained. They are echoes of an old state of mind, a past belief system that shaped the reality you see today. But just as they appeared, they can also disappear. The moment you shift your inner world, your outer world must follow. Most people believe their struggles are fixed, that they are victims of circumstance, that life is happening to them rather than through them. They believe their challenges are real, solid, immovable. But the truth is, nothing in your current experience is more real than the thoughts you hold about it. What you call a struggle is simply a reflection of your previous state of mind. The doubts you nurtured, the fears you entertained, the limitations you accepted, all of these have come together to form what you see today. But if your thoughts created this experience, then new thoughts can create something different. You are not bound by what appears before you. You are not a prisoner of your past beliefs. The moment you step into a new conviction, the entire structure of your reality begins to shift. It may not be immediate to the eyes, but it is immediate in truth. The unseen rearranges first, and soon the visible must follow. Most people, when they face difficulties, react to them as if they are permanent. They fight against them. They worry, they complain, they exhaust themselves trying to force external change without realizing the cause is within. But all struggle is born from resistance. The harder you fight against something, the more real it becomes to you. The more attention you give to a problem, the stronger its grip on you. But the moment you withdraw your energy from the illusion collapses. You do not need to fix your problems. You need to see through them. You need to recognize them for what they are, temporary manifestations of old thoughts, nothing more. And the moment you stop accepting them as unchangeable, they begin to dissolve. Imagine a person lost in a dream. Within the dream, they believe everything they see is real. They run from threats. They react to fears. They struggle against obstacles. But the moment they wake up, they realize it was all just a projection of their mind. The threats were never real. The obstacles never actually existed. It was all an illusion. Your waking life operates the same way. The things that seem so overwhelming right now, the financial hardship, the relationship struggles, the health concerns, these are not solid, fixed realities. They are reflections of past doubts, past fears, past limitations. The moment you wake up to this, the moment you recognize that your belief is the only thing holding them in place, you regain your power. You do not need to fight to change your circumstances. You only need to shift your belief. If you can accept fully and completely that what you desire is already yours, life will have no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect that. The struggle is not in making things happen. The struggle is only in overcoming your own doubts long enough for reality to shift. When you step into the belief of your miracle, when you fully embody the state of having already received it, the obstacles that once seemed immovable suddenly lose their power. The delays that once frustrated you vanish. The resistance that once held you back fades away. Because the world is only ever reflecting back to you what you accept as true. Some will say, but I cannot ignore my struggles. They are real. I can see them. I can feel them. They affect my life every day. But do you not see that very belief is why they persist? You continue to hold them in place by giving them your attention, your energy, your acceptance. The moment you withdraw your belief in them, they begin to shift. Think of a river flowing effortlessly, naturally, without struggle. But if you place a dam in its path, the water builds up, pressure increases, tension rises. The water itself was never struggling. It only met resistance. The moment the dam is removed, the river continues its course with ease. Your struggles are nothing more than dams in the flow of your life. And those dams are built from fear, doubt, and disbelief. Remove them, and the flow is restored. The answer has already been given. The blessing you seek, the breakthrough you long for, the transformation you desire, it is already yours. You are not waiting for God to say yes. He already has. The moment the desire was placed in your heart, the answer was spoken into existence. Your task is not to beg, not to plead, not to convince, but to align yourself with the reality where it is already done. Too often people approach life as if they must persuade God to grant them what they want. They pray as if they are trying to change His mind, as if He is withholding their blessings, waiting for them to prove their worth. But this is a misunderstanding of divine law. God is not a force outside of you deciding whether or not to give you what you seek. He has already placed within you the very thing you desire. And the moment you truly accept it, it must manifest. You do not need to struggle to receive what is already yours. What keeps you from seeing it is your own doubt, your own resistance, your own belief that it is not yet here. Every time you question whether it will happen, every time you look at your circumstances and think it is impossible, you delay the unfolding of what has already been granted. Imagine a radio broadcasting a signal. The station is playing, the music is already in the air, but unless you tune into the right frequency, you will not hear it. The music exists, but you must align your receiver to the correct channel to experience it. This is how divine manifestation works. The answer to your desire has already been given, it is already present, already available, but unless you tune your mind, your faith, your very being to the reality where it exists, you will not experience it. People often say, I am waiting on God, but the truth is, God is waiting on you. He is waiting for you to step into the knowing that your desire is already done. He is waiting for you to walk in faith, to think, speak, and act from the place of someone who already has what they seek. Not to hope, not to wish, but to know. Hope says one day it will happen. Knowing says it is already mine. Hope looks at circumstances and waits for change. Knowing looks beyond circumstances and commands change. This is the difference between those who experience miracles and those who continue to wait. The ones who receive do not wait for confirmation from the outside world. They do not wait for evidence before they believe. They believe first, and the evidence follows. Look around you. Everything you see now, every experience in your life, is a result of past beliefs you held, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your current reality is simply the harvest of seeds you planted in your mind. If you do not like the harvest, plant new seeds. Think new thoughts. Step into a new awareness. Align yourself with what you desire, not with what you fear. When you pray, do not pray as if you are asking for something that is not yet yours. Pray as if you are giving thanks for what has already been granted. Speak as if you already have it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief of knowing it is done. Live from the end result, and reality will mold itself to fit that state. This is why so many people struggle with unanswered prayers. Not because God has denied them, but because they continue to dwell in the state of lack, in the mindset of waiting, in the energy of hoping instead of receiving. They pray for healing but continue to dwell in sickness. They ask for abundance but continue to think from poverty. They seek love but continue to see themselves as alone. And so they remain in the very state they wish to leave, not because God has said no, but because they have not yet said yes to the reality where their prayer is already fulfilled. You must learn to embody the version of yourself that already has what you seek. If you desire peace, think and move as someone who is already at peace. If you desire success, see yourself as successful now. If you desire love, radiate the energy of someone who is already deeply loved. The world does not give you what you want, it reflects what you are. The moment you shift your inner state, the outer world follows. But most people look at the outer world first and allow it to dictate their inner state. They say, I will believe it when I see it. But the truth is, You will see it when you believe it. Faith is not about forcing things to happen. It is about knowing they are already happening. It is about standing firm in the reality where your desire is fulfilled, even when everything around you seems to suggest otherwise. It is about refusing to be swayed by circumstances, refusing to give in to doubt, refusing to accept anything less than what has already been spoken over your life. You are not waiting for God to approve your desires. He already has. The moment you asked, it was given. The only question is, will you receive it? Will you step into the knowing that it is done? Will you align yourself with the reality where it already exists? This is the secret of those who walk in miracles. They do not wish, they do not beg, they do not look at circumstances for confirmation. They know. They stand in faith. They declare their reality as already fulfilled. And because they do, life bends to match their conviction. You hold this power now. You do not need to wait another day, another moment. The answer has already been given. God has already said yes. Align yourself with that truth, and you will watch as reality transforms before your eyes. You are not separate from the miracle you seek. You are not merely a spectator waiting for divine intervention. You are the vessel through which it manifests. The power that brings miracles into existence is not outside of you, but within you, waiting for your recognition, waiting for your conviction. The moment you claim your divine inheritance, life bends to match your declaration. What you truly believe, you receive. This is the greatest truth that so many fail to realize. The miracle is not something to chase, not something to beg for, not something to earn. It is something to become. When you embody the knowing that you are already in possession of what you seek, the world has no choice but to conform. The external world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the inner world. When you declare something with certainty, when you step into the reality of it without hesitation, the universe arranges itself to fulfill your words. Most people live their lives as if they are at the mercy of circumstances. They look at their current reality and allow it to dictate their beliefs. They see lack and believe in scarcity. They see sickness and believe in weakness. They see struggle and believe in hardship. But the truth is that reality is shaped not by what is, but by what you accept as true. What you accept and embody is what will continue to manifest. If you want to see a miracle, you must first declare it within yourself. You must stop waiting for proof, stop waiting for external validation. Declare it now and let the world adjust to match your conviction. Speak it not as something that will happen in the future, but as something that is already done. Feel it, embody it, live from it, and watch as it takes form before your eyes. Doubt is the only thing that stands in your way. When you waver, when you question, when you allow uncertainty to creep in, you delay the very thing that is already yours. The moment you step into unwavering belief, the moment you refuse to accept anything less than what you have claimed, everything begins to shift. Look around you. Everything you have ever received, every experience you have encountered has come as a result of the beliefs you have held. Some of these beliefs were conscious, others unconscious, but all of them shaped your world. This is why some struggle and others thrive. It is not because one is more deserving than the other, not because one is luckier, but because one has accepted their divine inheritance while the other has not. You must understand, there is no power denying you. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. The only thing standing between you and your miracle is your own willingness to claim it. When you truly understand this, everything changes. Stop asking and start knowing. Stop wishing and start declaring. Say to yourself, it is already done. It is already mine. I do not need to wait. I do not need to struggle. I only need to align myself with the reality where it has already happened. This is not arrogance. This is faith. This is the power that moves mountains, the power that transforms lives. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to walk in miracles effortlessly? How everything they touch prospers? How doors open for them without struggle? It is not because they are favored above you, it is because they know their power. They do not doubt, they do not hesitate, they declare, and it is so. The same power exists within you now. The only thing required is your belief. If you continue to see yourself as lacking, as unworthy, as someone who needs a miracle, instead of being the miracle, you will continue to experience the absence of what you desire. But the moment you shift your perception, the moment you see yourself as the vessel through which divine power flows, everything changes. Imagine you're holding a key. This key unlocks every door, answers every prayer, fulfills every desire. But if you do not believe in the key, if you do not use it, the doors remain shut, not because they are locked against you, but because you have not turned the key. You must act in faith. You must walk in the reality of what you have declared. If you have spoken prosperity, then move through the world as if it is already yours. If you have spoken healing, then carry yourself as someone who is already whole. If you have spoken love, then embody the energy of one who is already deeply cherished. It is not enough to say the words. You must become the words. Your thoughts, your actions, your emotions must all align with the reality you have declared. And when they do, when there is no contradiction within you, when there is no hesitation, no fear, no doubt, the miracle must appear. You are the vessel of the miracle. The moment you claim your divine inheritance, life bends to match your conviction. The power has always been yours. Speak it, believe it, walk in it, and it will be so. You are not waiting for a miracle. The miracle is waiting for you. It has been here all along, ready to reveal itself the moment you decide to embrace it fully. You have spent too much time believing that your breakthrough, your transformation, your answered prayer is somewhere in the future, always just beyond your reach. But the truth is, it has already been given. You are not required to chase, struggle, or beg for it. You are only required to accept it. The mind conditioned by the world believes in time. It believes in delay. It believes that change must be gradual, that progress must be slow, that miracles must come after great effort. But the truth is, what you desire exists now. The only reason it has not appeared in your world is because you have not yet aligned yourself with it. Everything in your life reflects the state of your mind. The moment you shift, reality shifts. The moment you truly embody the knowing that your miracle is already here, it must appear. This is not a process of waiting. It is a process of becoming. It is a process of stepping into the reality that has been waiting for you all along. If you believe that you are still in the process of receiving, you create a reality where your desire is always just out of reach. But the moment you say, "It is done, it is mine now, I'm living in it now," you collapse the illusion of time, and the miracle must reveal itself in your world. This is the secret that so many fail to understand. Reality does not create your belief. Your belief creates reality. Most people look at their circumstances and say, "I will believe in my miracle when I see proof," but that is not how it works. It is because you believe that proof appears. Your world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner convictions. There is no power outside of you withholding anything from you. There is no force telling you that you must wait longer, suffer more, or prove yourself worthy before you can receive. The only thing that separates you from your desire is your own willingness to claim it. The moment you decide with complete certainty that it is already yours, everything shifts. Doubt is the only thing that delays. When you hesitate, when you second guess, when you look at your current circumstances and allow them to dictate what is possible, you reinforce the illusion that you are still waiting. But if you understand that the external world is only a mirror, then you know that the way to change what you see is to change what you accept as true within yourself. Ask yourself, what am I still waiting for? Am I waiting for circumstances to change before I believe? Am I waiting for a sign before I take action? Am I waiting for permission to step into my power? If you are waiting, you are delaying. The time is now. You must live from the state of your fulfilled desire, not toward it. If you wish to experience abundance, you must move through life as someone who is already abundant. If you wish to experience love, you must embody the energy of one who is already loved. If you wish to experience healing, you must align your thoughts and emotions with the state of wholeness. This is not pretending, this is not forcing, this is shifting your awareness to what has already been given to you. It is recognizing that the universe responds to your conviction, not your longing. Most people unknowingly push their desires further away by continuously affirming that they do not yet have them. They wake up each day thinking about what they lack, speaking about what they lack, feeling the absence of what they desire, and so their world continues to reflect that lack. But the ones who live in miracles, who manifest effortlessly, do something different. They do not see themselves as someone trying to receive. They know they have already received. They walk, speak, and act as if their miracle is already a part of their reality. And because they know it, the world has no choice but to conform. Your time is not in the future, your time is not someday, your time is now. The only question is, will you accept it? Will you let go of the belief that you must wait? Will you release the doubts that have kept you stuck? Will you step fully into the reality that has been waiting for you all along? It takes one decision, one moment of complete certainty, one shift in consciousness. And when you make that shift, when you fully embrace the knowing that your miracle is already here, life bends to match your conviction. You are not waiting, you are stepping into what has always been yours. Speak it, declare it, live from it, and it will be so. Everything you desire is already here, waiting for you to claim it. There is no delay, no external force withholding your miracle, only your own willingness to align with it. The moment you shift from hoping to knowing, from waiting to receiving, everything changes. Reality is not something you chase, it is something you create. Let this be the moment you stop looking at your circumstances for proof and start declaring what is already yours. Walk as if it is done. Speak as if it is done. Feel as if it is done. And life will move to reflect that certainty back to you. Your time is now. Your miracle is now. It has always been now. The only thing left is for you to step into it fully. Thank you. There are those who believe that luck is random, that wealth is the privilege of a few, and that abundance is dictated by chance. But I tell you, nothing is left to chance. Your reality bends to your assumptions, and your words hold the power to command the unseen into existence. I once believed, as many do, that wealth was something to chase, something to work tirelessly for. But then I discovered a truth so profound it shattered every limitation I had ever known. I won the lottery not once, not twice, but 8 times. By repeating 3 simple words. These were not ordinary words spoken without thought. No, these words became my law, my truth, my unwavering reality. I did not beg, I did not plead. I declared. And as I declared, the universe conspired in my favor. The first time I said these words, I felt a shift within me. It was as if the veil of doubt was lifted, and in its place certainty was born. With each repetition, I moved deeper into the state of already having, already possessing. And then it happened. The numbers aligned, the impossible became possible, and wealth found me, not by struggle, but by assumption. The world will tell you to work harder, to calculate, to strategize. But what they fail to understand is that your assumptions override every external circumstance. You do not attract wealth by wishing, you command it by knowing. When I spoke these words, I did not hope. I assumed. I did not wish. I embodied. And the words, it is done. With these 3 words, I released doubt. With these 3 words, I assumed the feeling of already possessing. And with these 3 words, the unseen took form. This is not about luck, this is about law. The law that what you assume as true must harden into fact. You do not need to chase wealth. Speak as if it is already yours. Feel it. Live it. And the world will have no choice but to conform. I won the lottery 8 times, not because I was lucky, but because I knew it is done. Words are not just sounds that pass through the air and vanish into silence. They are vibrations, frequencies, and forces that carry within them the essence of creation itself. When you speak, you do not merely express thoughts, you mold reality. You send forth energy that shapes the world around you, whether you are aware of it or not. Every word uttered carries intention, and every intention carries the power to manifest into tangible form. This is why those who understand the power of spoken words use them with purpose, precision, and absolute conviction. Consider for a moment the way the world responds to words. A kind word can uplift a soul weighed down by despair, while a harsh word can wound a heart beyond repair. A simple statement of encouragement can inspire greatness, while words of doubt can cripple ambition before it even begins. If words can influence emotions, can they not also shape the physical world? Indeed they can, for the world you see is nothing more than a reflection of the unseen forces at work within you, your beliefs, your assumptions, and the words you speak, both in thought and aloud. Throughout history, those who have unlocked the mysteries of creation have understood the power of speech. The great teachers, sages, and prophets did not perform miracles through effort alone. They spoke, and it was so. They declared, and reality shifted to accommodate their words. The ancient texts speak of a force that brought the universe into being, a force that was spoken into existence. This is not a metaphor. It is the fundamental truth of creation. Words are the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between thought and reality. But for words to manifest powerfully, they must be spoken with conviction. Half-hearted affirmations do little, for they carry within them the seed of doubt. When you say, "I am wealthy," but within you lingers the belief that you are not, your words become empty, powerless. The universe does not respond to mere sound. It responds to certainty. It responds to the energy behind the words. This is why those who command reality speak as though their desire is already fulfilled. They do not ask, they do not hope, they declare. To speak with conviction is to assume the authority that is already yours. It is to recognize that you are not separate from creation, but one with it. The words you speak are not just expressions of thought. They are instructions given to the unseen forces that govern all things. When you declare something is true, when you assume it with unwavering certainty, you set into motion the mechanisms by which reality must conform. Consider those who have achieved great things against all odds. More often than not, they spoke their success into existence long before the world saw evidence of it. They did not wait for proof before believing. They believed first, and proof followed. This is the secret that so many fail to grasp. Most people wait for circumstances to change before they change their speech. They wait to see improvement before they dare to declare that they are abundant, healthy, successful, loved. But this is the reverse of true creation. You do not speak because you see because you speak. This is why the words you use daily matter more than you realize. Every complaint, every statement of lack, every idle word spoken without awareness contributes to the reality you experience. If you constantly say, "Nothing ever works out for me," then the universe, being obedient to your command, ensures that nothing does. If you habitually declare, "I am always struggling," then struggle becomes the law of your life. But the moment you shift your words, you shift your reality. When you begin to speak from a place of abundance, when you declare that all things are working in your favor, when you affirm that you are powerful beyond measure, the world will shape itself to reflect this truth. The key is to speak as if your desire is already fulfilled, to say I am rather than I will be, to say it is done rather than I hope it happens. When you affirm something as a future possibility, you keep it at a distance, always just beyond reach. But when you declare it as a present reality, you bring it into existence now. The subconscious mind, which governs the unfolding of your experiences, does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only knows what you consistently impress upon it. Speak as though it is already so, and your subconscious will accept it as truth, setting into motion the chain of events that will bring it into being. To speak with conviction requires practice, for the mind has been conditioned to doubt, to question, to seek external validation. But the more you declare your truth with certainty, the stronger your belief becomes. And belief is the force that moves mountains. The world does not change first, you do. And as you change, as you speak differently, as you assume differently, the world mirrors your inner transformation. Some may dismiss this as mere positive thinking, but it is far more than that. Positive thinking is wishful. Powerful speech is directive. It is not about hoping for better. It is about commanding better. It is about understanding that your words are the architects of your destiny. Speak as one who knows. Speak as one who has already received. Let your words be filled with power, not hesitation. Declare your wealth, your health, your success, your love, your joy, not as something you seek, but as something you already possess. And as you do, the world will shape itself in perfect harmony with your spoken word. What you assume to be true, whether seen or unseen, whether reasonable or unreasonable, whether logical or illogical, becomes the reality you experience. The world you see, the life you live, and the circumstances you encounter are all reflections of the assumptions you hold in your mind. There is no exception to this law. It operates with absolute certainty, molding reality in accordance with the state you persistently occupy. Most people believe that their circumstances dictate their assumptions. They look at their bank accounts and assume they are poor. They experience loneliness and assume they are unloved. They encounter obstacles and assume they are unlucky. But this is a misunderstanding of how reality works. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. What you assume within is what projects outward. It is not your experiences that shape your assumptions. It is your assumptions that shape your experiences. Everything in your life right now is a direct result of what you have been assuming, whether consciously or unconsciously. If you believe that you must struggle for success, struggle will always be your companion. If you believe that money is hard to come by, you will constantly find yourself in situations where money seems scarce. If you assume that you are not good enough, the world will reflect back to you circumstances that confirm this belief. But the moment you change your assumption, everything shifts. When you assume something is true, you are not merely hoping or wishing for it, you are living from it. You accept it as a fact, even if the physical world has not yet caught up. You speak as though it is already so, you think as though it is already so, and most importantly, you feel as though it is already so. This feeling, this knowing, is what impresses the subconscious mind, and once impressed, it must externalize itself in the world of form. The mind cannot hold two opposing beliefs at the same time. If you assume wealth, you cannot simultaneously assume lack. If you assume health, you cannot also assume illness. This is why it is not enough to simply affirm what you want while still internally holding the assumption that you do not have it. The assumption must be absolute, unwavering, and felt deeply. It must become your natural state, the place from which you think, speak, and act. Many people try to change their external reality while still holding on to the same internal assumptions, and then they wonder why nothing changes. They apply effort in the physical world while still believing in limitation within. They try to force success while assuming failure. But assumption does not work through force, it works through conviction. The moment you assume something completely, you no longer need to force it into being. Reality must bend to match your assumption. This is why those who effortlessly attract success, love, or wealth do not chase these things. They simply assume them as natural parts of their existence. They do not question whether they deserve it or whether it will come to them. They know. And because they know, the world arranges itself to reflect their knowing. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you assume to be true. Wanting something implies that you do not have it, and by wanting you affirm the absence of it. But assuming means stepping into the state of already having, already being, already possessing. When you assume a state, you no longer desire it, you express it, you live from it, and you allow the world to catch up to your new reality. To shift your life, you must shift your assumptions. Begin by identifying what you have unconsciously assumed about yourself and your world. Do you assume that things never work out for you? Do you assume that love is difficult? Do you assume that success is reserved for others? These hidden assumptions govern your experiences, but the moment you recognize them, you gain the power to change them. Choose a new assumption, one that aligns with the life you desire. If you wish to experience abundance, assume that wealth flows effortlessly to you. If you desire love, assume that you are deeply cherished and valued. If you seek health, assume that your body is strong and whole. Do not wait for external confirmation. Assume it now. Think, speak, and act from this state, and soon the world will conform. This may feel unnatural because the senses will present evidence to the contrary. But reality is always lagging behind consciousness. It is reflecting past assumptions, not current ones. Persist in your new assumption, and in time, the outer world will shift to match it. Those who live extraordinary lives do so not because they are lucky, but because they assume differently. They assume that they are capable, that opportunities always come their way, that life is working in their favor. These assumptions, held consistently, shape the course of their experiences. The same principle applies to you. There is no external force denying you your desires, only the assumptions you hold within. It is not enough to occasionally entertain a new assumption. It must become your dominant state. You must occupy it so fully that it feels more real than anything the physical world shows you. And when it does, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Assumption creates reality. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but always. What you assume to be true, whether seen or unseen, will become the reality you experience. Speak as if you already possess it. Think as if it is already yours, and feel as if it has already come to pass. Do this with unwavering certainty, and your world will transform before your eyes. The mind is a vast and powerful instrument, capable of shaping reality in accordance with the thoughts it holds. However, there exists a natural resistance within the conscious mind, a tendency to cling to familiar patterns and reject change. This is why many people struggle to break free from limiting beliefs, even when they intellectually understand that a new reality is possible. They may wish for abundance, love, or success, yet their deeply ingrained thought patterns keep them tethered to their current circumstances. But there is a key that unlocks transformation: repetition. The conscious mind may resist change, but the subconscious mind does not. It is impressionable, absorbing whatever it is given, provided it is repeated with conviction and consistency. What you feed it daily, it accepts as truth. Whether those repeated thoughts serve you or limit you, the subconscious makes no distinction. It simply takes in what it is given and externalizes it into your reality. Consider for a moment how deeply embedded beliefs are formed. From childhood, you were told certain things about yourself, the world, and what is possible for you. These statements were repeated often enough that they became your truth. If you were told that you must work hard to succeed, you accepted this as a fact. If you were repeatedly made to feel unworthy, that too became part of your self-concept. These beliefs were not necessarily chosen by you. They were absorbed through repetition. Just as limiting beliefs were formed through repetition, they can be undone in the same way. The mind is not fixed, it is malleable. It can be reprogrammed through deliberate and consistent affirmation. When you repeat a thought often enough, it bypasses the resistance of the conscious mind and sinks into the subconscious, where it takes root and begins to express itself in your external world. This is why the words you speak to yourself daily hold immense power. Every time you affirm something, whether positive or negative, you are reinforcing it. If you constantly tell yourself, "I am unlucky," your subconscious accepts this and ensures that you encounter circumstances that validate that belief. But if you begin to affirm, "Everything is working out in my favor," and you repeat this with unwavering conviction, your subconscious mind will arrange your reality accordingly. Repetition does not mean mechanical words spoken without feeling. To be effective, it must be accompanied by belief and emotion. The subconscious mind responds not just to words but to the feeling behind them. If you say, "I am wealthy," but internally doubt it, the affirmation carries no power. But if you repeat it daily with certainty, allowing yourself to feel as though it is already true, the subconscious mind will accept it. The mistake most people make is giving up too soon. They affirm something for a few days, perhaps a week, and when they do not see immediate results, they assume it does not work. But repetition is a process, and just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, neither do new beliefs take root instantly. They must be nurtured, reinforced, and repeated until they become so deeply embedded that they feel natural. The most effective way to rewire the mind is through saturation, flooding the subconscious with the new belief until it becomes second nature. This is done by speaking it, thinking it, imagining it, and feeling it over and over again. It is through this relentless repetition that the old limiting beliefs lose their grip and the new reality begins to take form. Throughout history, those who have mastered the art of repetition have transformed their lives in miraculous ways. Athletes visualize their victories repeatedly before they ever step onto the field. Successful individuals affirm their greatness long before the world recognizes them. Those who rise from obscurity to wealth first see themselves as wealthy in their minds, reinforcing this image daily until it manifests. The process is simple, yet most overlook it because they seek instant change. They do not realize that their current circumstances are the result of years, perhaps decades, of repeated thought patterns. To shift into a new reality requires the same dedication. It requires choosing over and over again to affirm what you desire rather than what you fear. It requires speaking of your success even when external evidence suggests otherwise. It requires persistence when the conscious mind wants to revert to its old ways. Repetition is not merely a tool, it is the very mechanism by which reality is shaped. Everything you experience is a reflection of the thoughts you have, reinforced through consistent focus. If you wish to change your reality, change what you repeat to yourself daily. Flood your mind with the belief that you are already the person you wish to be. Speak it, feel it, embody it. The resistance of the conscious mind fades and the new assumption takes root. What once felt unnatural becomes your truth. What once seemed impossible becomes your experience. This is the power of repetition. When applied correctly, it is unstoppable. It overrides doubt, dissolves fear, and reconstructs your world from the inside out. No one is exempt from this law. Whether you consciously use it or not, repetition is shaping your life. The question is, are you repeating thoughts that serve you or thoughts that limit you? Are you reinforcing lack, struggle, and doubt, or are you affirming abundance, ease, and certainty? You have the power to choose. And when you do, when you commit to repeating the truth of your desires daily with full conviction, the world will mold itself to match. The conscious mind may resist at first, but the subconscious does not. It absorbs, accepts, and expresses whatever it is given. Feed it wisely, and in time, the reality you once dreamed of will be the reality you wake up to every day. The mind is conditioned to seek logic, to measure possibilities by what is seen and what has been experienced before. It clings to patterns, calculations, and probabilities, believing that reality follows a fixed, predictable path. This is the nature of the logical mind. It doubts, it questions, and it hesitates. But creation does not operate through logic. It works through belief. What is faith if not the ability to hold on to an unseen reality, knowing it must come to pass? Faith is the bridge between desire and fulfillment, the force that brings the invisible into form. Those who rely solely on logic trap themselves in limitation. They look at their current circumstances and say, "This is my reality, and it cannot change unless something external shifts first." They demand evidence before belief, never realizing that belief itself is the evidence, the unseen cause that precedes all visible effects. The truth is, whatever you accept as real in your mind will express itself in your world, regardless of whether logic agrees. The great creators, the ones who bend reality in their favor, are not bound by what is reasonable. They do not consult the opinions of others to determine what is possible. They simply decide what will be and persist in that decision until it materializes. There is a reason why so many who achieve greatness do so despite overwhelming odds. It is not because they are lucky, nor because they have access to something others do not. It is because they refuse to let logic dictate their outcomes. They do not ask whether their dreams are realistic, they assume them to be true. And in doing so, they summon the unseen forces that align the world to match their belief. This is why those who rely on statistics and probabilities often fail where dreamers succeed. The logical mind says, only a few people ever accomplish this, the chances are low. But belief says, I do not need to concern myself with chances, I only need to accept that it is mine. The one who believes moves forward with certainty, while the one who doubts hesitates and ultimately remains stuck. If you wish to transform your life, you must learn to suspend disbelief. You must train yourself to see beyond appearances, to know that circumstances do not dictate what is possible, your assumption does. If you decide that something is yours, and you hold to that belief with unwavering faith, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. This is where most people falter. They entertain a new belief for a moment, but as soon as doubt arises, they retreat into logic. They look around and say, but I don't see any proof. And because they do not see it, they assume it is not real. But what they fail to understand is that the external world is only a reflection of past beliefs. The results they seek will not appear until the new belief is firmly rooted within them. The key is to persist. Hold to the vision even when everything in your logical mind says it is impossible. Speak of your desire as though it is already yours. Think from the reality you wish to experience rather than about it as something distant. The longer you do this, the more natural it becomes, until one day, without effort, it simply appears. It is not a matter of wishing or hoping, it is a matter of knowing. There is no greater power than the certainty of belief. The world bends to those who refuse to accept anything less than their assumption. History is filled with stories of individuals who defied reason, who refused to acknowledge limitations, and who, against all odds, achieved what others deemed impossible. The great inventors of the past did not wait for others to agree that their ideas were possible. The great artists did not seek permission to create. The great leaders did not hesitate because the world said their dreams were unrealistic. They simply decided, and in their decision they commanded reality to obey. What you believe will always outweigh what is logical. If you believe something is beyond your reach, no amount of effort will bring it to you. But if you believe something is already yours, no force in the world can keep it from you. This is why some struggle for years and never succeed, while others rise effortlessly. It has nothing to do with talent or opportunity. It has everything to do with belief. Doubt is the only thing that stands in the way of your desires. The moment you stop questioning whether something is possible and instead accept it as an inevitability, the path to it will unfold effortlessly. The logical mind will tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to only believe in what has been proven, but the reality you desire will not come through logic. It will come through faith. Suspend disbelief and miracles unfold. Allow yourself to imagine beyond what is reasonable, beyond what others say is possible. Decide what is yours, assume it fully, and let go of any thought that contradicts it. The moment you do this, reality will begin to shift in your favor. The world may not understand how it happens, but it does not need to. You are not bound by logic. You are bound only by what you believe. So believe boldly, assume the best, accept your desires as already fulfilled, and watch as reality bends to the certainty of your faith. Every thought you hold, every word you speak carries an energy. But it is not just the words themselves that create reality, it is the feeling behind them. Words without feeling are empty. They carry no creative force. But the moment you attach a feeling, the moment you truly experience the emotion of already having what you desire, you have set creation into motion. Feeling is the secret. It is the bridge between imagination and reality, the power that turns thought into form. You do not simply wish for something, you must feel as though it is already yours. It is not enough to say, "I am wealthy," if deep inside you feel lack. It is not enough to affirm, "I am loved," if you feel lonely and unworthy. The words must carry conviction, and conviction is felt, not just spoken. Many people fail to manifest their desires because they focus only on the words. They repeat affirmations mechanically, hoping that repetition alone will bring results. But words without feeling are powerless. If you do not believe what you are saying, if your emotions contradict your words, then the subconscious mind does not accept them as truth. It continues to reflect the feelings you hold rather than the words you speak. Your subconscious mind does not understand logic, it understands feeling. It takes whatever you feel deeply and accepts it as reality. This is why fear manifests so quickly. When you are afraid, you are not merely thinking of a negative outcome, you are feeling it. Your heart races, your breath shortens, and your body responds as if the feared event is already happening. And because you feel it so intensely, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins to shape your world accordingly. But the same principle works in your favor when you generate the feeling of already having what you want, when you embody the state of being that aligns with your desire, when you feel gratitude, joy, and certainty as though it is already yours, you have planted the seed. The moment you allow yourself to feel the reality of your desire before it appears, you have claimed it. Think of a time when you truly wanted something and then received it. Before it came, there was anticipation, excitement, and knowing deep within you that it was on its way. That feeling of joyful expectation is the key. It is the same feeling you must cultivate now, even before your desire has physically manifested. When you can reach a place where you feel as though it has already happened, you will see reality shift in your favor. This is why so many remain stuck in cycles of lack and struggle. They may say they want something different, but their dominant feeling is one of frustration, doubt, or need. They focus on the absence of their desire rather than its fulfillment. And because the subconscious mind reflects feeling, it continues to produce the same experiences that match those emotions. To change your reality, you must first change your inner state. You must train yourself to feel abundance while surrounded by lack, to feel love while alone, to feel success before it is visible. This is not pretending, this is creation. You are not fooling yourself, you are instructing the universe. Your feelings are the language of creation. When you walk through life carrying the energy of already having what you desire, everything around you begins to respond. People, opportunities, and circumstances start to align in ways that seem almost miraculous. But it is not a miracle, it is law. The universe is simply matching your inner state. If you wish to attract wealth, you must generate the feeling of financial ease now before the money arrives. If you wish to attract love, you must feel loved within yourself first. If you wish to experience success, you must feel the confidence and certainty of success before it is evident. The external world will always follow the internal world. It has no choice. But how do you generate a feeling when reality appears to contradict it? How do you feel wealthy when bills are piling up? How do you feel loved when no one is there? The answer is simple: imagination. Imagination is the tool that allows you to step into any state of being, regardless of what the outer world shows you. Close your eyes and see yourself already living your desire. Feel it as if it is happening now. If you wish to win the lottery, imagine yourself holding the winning ticket, feeling the rush of excitement, the overwhelming joy, the deep sense of gratitude. If you can fully immerse yourself in that experience, if you can make it real within you, then it must become real around you. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel good. Decide to feel good now. Decide to feel as if your desire has already been granted, and watch as life bends to your assumption. Reality is not something fixed, it is fluid, shaped by the energy you emit. And your dominant feeling is the most powerful signal you send out. Let go of doubt. Let go of the need to see proof before believing. The only proof you need is the feeling within you. If you can feel it, you have already claimed it. The world may take time to catch up, but it will. It has no choice but to reflect back to you the state you embody. So, stop waiting, feel it now, live in the joy of already having what you desire. Walk with the confidence of someone who knows it is done. Speak, act, and think from the reality you wish to experience. The moment you fully embrace the feeling, the moment you stop seeking and start knowing, everything will fall into place effortlessly. Feeling is the secret. It is not a matter of hoping or wishing, it is a matter of claiming. And you claim through feeling. Generate the feeling and you have already won. The rest is simply a matter of time. Your world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Every event, every circumstance, and every person that enters your life is a reflection of the state you hold within. Nothing is separate from you and nothing is beyond your influence. The moment you accept this truth, you step into your rightful position as the creator of your reality. Look around you. Everything you see, everything you experience, is a mirror of your inner world. Your dominant thoughts, your assumptions, and most importantly, your feelings shape the external world you navigate. The life you are living today is the result of past beliefs and emotional states. If you wish to change your reality, you must first change yourself. There is no other way. Most people believe they are at the mercy of circumstances. They believe life happens randomly, that luck or fate determines their experiences. But this is an illusion. Nothing in your life appears without invitation. Every moment, knowingly or unknowingly, you are setting the conditions for what comes next. The question is, are you creating consciously or are you creating by default? If you do not take control of your inner world, the world around you will continue to reflect old patterns, habits, and fears. It will feel as though you are trapped in cycles of repetition, unable to break free. But the moment you shift your state of being, the moment you consciously align your thoughts, words, and feelings with what you truly desire, the entire structure of your reality must adjust to match. The external world is fluid, not fixed. It bends and reshapes itself according to the energy you emit. When you begin to see yourself as the creator, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. You no longer beg for change. You assume the change is already done. You do not hope for a better future. You embody the state of already living it. This is the secret behind every great transformation. Those who have mastered their reality have done so not by chasing after things, but by becoming the version of themselves who naturally attracts those things. If you wish for success, you must embody the feeling of success before it appears. If you wish for love, you must first radiate the energy of love. If you wish for wealth, you must feel abundant within yourself, regardless of what your bank account currently shows. Your assumption is the blueprint for your experience. Whatever you assume to be true, whether positive or negative, will manifest. If you assume that life is difficult, that money is hard to come by, that relationships never work out, then reality will reflect those beliefs, not because the world is cruel, but because it has no choice but to mirror the state you hold. But what happens when you shift your assumptions? What happens when you decide with unwavering certainty that life is working in your favor, that money flows to you effortlessly, that love, success, and happiness are your natural state? The world must change. It has no power to resist the new reality you hold within. This is why belief is more powerful than circumstance. It does not matter what things look like now. What matters is what you accept as true in your heart. You must dare to believe in your desire, even when there is no evidence. You must trust in the unseen, knowing that the moment you claim something internally, the external world begins moving to bring it into form. Many people struggle with this because they are ruled by what they see. They look at their current situation and allow it to dictate their feelings and beliefs. But this is not how creation works. If you only believe something once you see it, you are a servant of circumstance, not a master of reality. True creation requires that you believe first, before there is proof, before the world confirms it. You must walk by faith, not by sight. You must declare what is yours and feel the reality of it before the world presents it to you. When you do this consistently, you will witness the most extraordinary transformations. What once seemed impossible will become inevitable. Your words, your thoughts, your emotions, they are the tools of creation. Every time you speak, you are shaping your reality. When you declare, "I am powerful," you are reinforcing that truth within your subconscious mind. When you affirm, "I am abundant," you are setting the stage for wealth to appear in your life. But if you speak words of doubt, fear, or limitation, you are creating barriers for yourself. Choose your words wisely. Speak only what you wish to manifest. Assume only the best outcomes. And above all, feel the reality of your desires as though they are already fulfilled. Because the moment you do, the world will rearrange itself to reflect your new state of being. You were never meant to struggle. You were never meant to live in lack or limitation. You were born to create, to shape your reality with intention and purpose. But the only way to do this is to recognize that you already have the power. It has always been within you. The only thing that has ever stood between you and your desires is your own perception. Change the way you see yourself and the world must follow. See yourself as powerful and power will flow to you. See yourself as worthy and you will attract everything that aligns with that worthiness. See yourself as abundant and abundance will become your experience. You are the creator. Your world is nothing more than a reflection of you. If you do not like what you see, do not try to force the world to change. Change yourself. Shift your assumptions, align your feelings with your desires, and watch as life transforms effortlessly before your eyes. The moment you claim your power, the moment you stop seeking and start knowing, is the moment everything changes. The universe is not separate from you, it is responding to you. The question is, what are you telling it? What are you assuming? What are you feeling? Align yourself with the reality you wish to experience. Speak it, assume it, feel it, and it must be so. There is no force in existence that can deny you what you have fully accepted within. Your world will always be what you declare it to be. Declare wisely. Everything you have heard, everything you have absorbed, leads to one undeniable truth. You are the creator of your reality. Your world is not shaped by luck, fate, or external forces beyond your control. It is shaped by your thoughts, your assumptions, and most importantly, the feelings you consistently hold within. What you accept as true will manifest. What you declare with conviction will unfold. What you feel as real will materialize before your very eyes. If you can grasp this truth and embody it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. There is no dream too big, no desire too far out of reach. The only requirement is that you trust in your own power. Stop waiting for the world to change before you believe. Change your belief first, and the world will follow. Let your words be powerful, your assumptions unwavering, and your feelings aligned with the reality you wish to experience. When you do this, life must bend to your will, for creation is not outside of you, it is you. You are not here to struggle. You are not here to hope for scraps of joy or fleeting moments of success. You are here to claim your rightful place as the master of your destiny. Step into that power, speak it, feel it, live it. And with that, I thank you. Thank you for opening your heart to this truth. Thank you for daring to believe in your own limitless potential. Thank you for choosing to create with intention rather than by default. Now go forth and manifest the life you were always meant to live. Be still, breathe, release the weight of trying to control every detail of your life. The battle is not yours to fight, and the door is not yours to force open. There is a power beyond what the eyes can see, a presence working tirelessly on your behalf. Even now, while you stand at the edge of uncertainty, divine hands are arranging circumstances, aligning people, and moving obstacles you never knew existed. When you rest, you are not giving up, you are surrendering to something far greater. You are stepping into the truth that what is meant for you is already on its way. You do not have to struggle, beg, or exhaust yourself in pursuit of what is divinely yours. What do you gain by worrying? What changes when you stress over tomorrow? The answer is nothing. But when you enter the state of rest, true rest, the kind that knows the work is already done, you unlock the door to effortless manifestation. Look around you. The evidence may not be visible yet, but the unseen forces are already setting things in place. The right people, the right moments, the right opportunities, none of them are random. They are all part of a divine orchestration. Rest now, step into the knowing that God has already declared your victory. The only thing left for you to do is believe it. Walk as if it is done, speak as if it has already happened. Feel the reality of your answered prayer before it arrives, and watch how effortlessly it unfolds before you. This is not a time for doubt, this is not a time for fear, this is a time for trust. Rest, for the promise is already fulfilled. What you see is not all there is. The world before your eyes is but a fraction of reality, a mere shadow cast by something far greater. The physical realm, bound by time and space, often tricks you into believing that what is visible is all that exists. But beyond what you can touch, beyond what you can measure, there is an unseen hand at work, arranging, shifting, and preparing the way for you. You may look around and see lack, struggle, and unanswered prayers, but that is only because your eyes have not yet adjusted to the higher reality. Just as the roots of a tree grow beneath the soil long before the leaves appear, so too does God's work in your life begin long before you can see its evidence. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. The silence is not emptiness. It is preparation. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. You trust the process. You know that beneath the soil, the seed is breaking open, putting down roots, reaching toward the surface. The moment of breakthrough is inevitable. So it is with the plans God has for you. Just because you do not see them unfolding does not mean they are not happening. The timing of manifestation is not determined by your impatience, but by divine wisdom. Consider a moment in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. You did not struggle or force them to happen. They simply aligned. That was not coincidence, that was divine orchestration. What you call chance is often unseen grace. The right opportunity, the right person, the right words at the right time. All of it flows through an intelligence far greater than human effort. Faith is the bridge between what you see and what is yet to be revealed. It is the invisible thread connecting you to the reality you desire, even when there is no visible proof of its existence. Faith is knowing that what is for you is already set in motion. It does not waver in uncertainty. It does not collapse under delay. Faith stands firm, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Many people believe only in what they can confirm with their senses. They say, "I will believe it when I see it," but that is not faith, that is observation. Faith operates in the unseen, trusting in what is not yet visible but is already true. It does not require physical proof, because it knows that proof follows belief, not the other way around. There is a version of you in another reality, already living the life you desire. The person who is healed, who is whole, who has received the very thing you are longing for, it already exists. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not a matter of effort but of alignment. When you shift your belief, when you trust that God has already prepared the way, you step onto the bridge of faith. The mistake many make is assuming that if they do not see movement, nothing is happening. But think of a seedling before it breaks the surface. For weeks, it appears as if nothing is happening, yet beneath the soil, an entire transformation is taking place. Roots are growing deeper, foundations are being established. If you judge it too soon, you may believe the seed has failed, but in reality, it is preparing for its appointed time. You may be in that season of hidden growth. You may feel as though nothing is changing, no doors are opening, no progress is being made. But if you could see what is happening beneath the surface, you would not worry. You would rest, knowing that God is working on your behalf in ways beyond your comprehension. Faith is not passive, it is active. It is not merely hoping that things will get better. It is knowing that they already are. It is the conviction that your prayer has been answered the moment you asked, even before the physical proof appears. Just as a traveler boards a plane knowing they will arrive at their destination without seeing the pilot or the inner workings of the aircraft, faith allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that the path has already been prepared. Imagine the weight that would lift from your shoulders if you truly believed this. If you lived as though your desires were already fulfilled, how differently would you act? Would you worry less? Would you speak with greater certainty? Would you wake up with joy rather than anxiety? This is the power of faith. It allows you to live in the reality of your answered prayers before they have manifested. God is not bound by time as you are. He does not work within human limitations. What seems delayed to you is perfectly on schedule in the divine plan. Your part is not to force, not to struggle, but to trust. Every great breakthrough is preceded by a period of seeming stillness. The world was created in the unseen before it became visible. Your blessings are no different. They exist now, in a realm beyond sight, waiting for the appointed moment to be revealed. Release the need to control. Stop trying to figure out every detail. The how is not your responsibility, the belief is. When you plant the seed of faith, water it with trust, speak as if it is done, feel the reality of it now. When you do, you are no longer waiting, you are walking in alignment with the unseen forces bringing it into being. What you see is not all there is. Do not be fooled by appearances. The doors that seem closed, the delays that frustrate you, the circumstances that look impossible, none of them define your reality. The moment you believe, the unseen begins to take shape. It is already happening. It is already yours. Rest in this truth. Walk in this knowing. Faith is the bridge, and the moment you step onto it, you will realize that you were never waiting at all. You were always moving toward what was already prepared for you. To rest is not to be idle, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is in fact the highest demonstration of trust. It is a declaration that you believe in something greater than your own strength, greater than your own plans, and greater than the limitations of the physical world. To rest is to surrender the illusion of control and acknowledge that there is a divine intelligence at work in your life, orchestrating events with a wisdom far beyond human comprehension. Many believe that relentless effort is the key to success. They work tirelessly, worry endlessly, and push themselves beyond their limits, believing that only through sheer determination can they bring their desires to fruition. But what if the very act of striving is the thing that is keeping the blessing at bay? What if the need to constantly do, to constantly force, is blocking the flow of what has already been set in motion for you? Rest is not about doing nothing, it is about doing something powerful. It is about aligning yourself with the truth that what is meant for you cannot be taken away, delayed, or denied by external circumstances. When you truly trust, you release the urgency, the anxiety, and the need to manipulate outcomes. You step into a state of calm certainty, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. There is a reason why seasons exist. The earth does not rush the process of growth. A tree does not anxiously question whether spring will come after winter. It simply abides, knowing that the cycle is guaranteed. It does not force its leaves to grow, nor does it panic when they fall. It trusts. Likewise, when you learn to rest, you begin to move in harmony with divine timing rather than against it. Resting does not mean giving up. It does not mean abandoning your dreams or sitting passively while waiting for things to happen. It means shifting from fear-based action to faith-based living. When you act out of fear, you strive, you chase, and you exhaust yourself in an attempt to control what is already taken care of. But when you act from faith, you move with ease, with confidence, and with the knowing that what is meant for you is already making its way to you. Consider the story of a farmer. He tills the soil, plants the seed, and waters it. But after that, he does not stand over the seed demanding that it sprout immediately. He does not dig it up each day to check if growth has begun. He simply trusts the process. He rests in the assurance that given time, the seed will break through the soil and bear fruit. His job is not to force the growth. His job is to prepare the soil and then allow nature to do. So it is with your life. Your part is to plant the seed, through belief, through preparation, through inspired action, but the growth, the manifestation, the perfect unfolding of events, that is not your work. That is the work of divine power. To interfere, to worry, to stress over what is already in motion is to act as though you do not trust the very thing you say you believe in. You may not see immediate results, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Just as the seed must first develop roots before it can break through the surface, so too must your blessings take root in the unseen before they appear in the seen. The delay is not a denial, it is a necessary part of the process. To rest is to trust that even in the silence, even in the stillness, something is being prepared for you. There is a great misconception that busyness equates to progress. That if you are not constantly moving, constantly striving, then you are falling behind. But true progress does not come from frantic action, it comes from aligned action. And aligned action is born from a place of inner stillness. When you truly trust, you stop feeling the need to prove yourself through overexertion. You stop seeking validation from the external world. You stop measuring your worth by how much you accomplish. Instead, you operate from a place of knowing that you are already enough, knowing that everything is working in your favor, knowing that divine timing is never late. Rest is a declaration of faith. It is a statement that you believe in a higher plan, that you are willing to let go of the illusion of control and allow God to work in His perfect way. It is the opposite of worry, the opposite of fear, the opposite of striving. It is a conscious choice to let go and allow divine power to flow unimpeded. Imagine how your life would change if you embraced this truth, if you stopped forcing, stopped stressing, and instead rested in the certainty that everything is already taken care of. Would you breathe easier? Would you sleep better? Would you move through your days with greater joy and peace? When you rest, you make room for miracles. You open yourself to the unexpected, to the blessings that could never be manufactured through human effort alone. You become a vessel for divine alignment rather than a barrier to it. Rest, not because you are giving up, but because you are choosing to trust. Rest, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in the unseen. Rest, because to rest is to declare that you believe in God's perfect timing more than your own. And when you do, you will see things will begin to align, doors will open effortlessly, and what once seemed impossible will unfold before you with a grace that striving could never achieve. The work is already being done. Your only job now is to believe, to receive, and to rest. Just because your eyes cannot perceive it does not mean nothing is happening. The unseen forces are constantly at work, shifting, arranging, and aligning circumstances in your favor. The greatest transformations do not begin in the physical realm. They originate in the unseen, where divine intelligence operates beyond human comprehension. You must understand that what is visible is merely a reflection of what is being orchestrated behind the scenes. Many people become discouraged when they do not see immediate results. They pray, they affirm, they set intentions, but when nothing appears to change, doubt begins to creep in. They assume that if they cannot see movement, then nothing is happening. But this is an illusion. The most powerful changes occur beneath the surface before they ever manifest in your reality. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it appears as if nothing is happening. Day after day, there is no visible sign of growth. But underneath the soil, a transformation is taking place. The seed is breaking open, roots are spreading, and a foundation is being established long before the sprout emerges. The delay is not a denial, it is a necessary process of unseen preparation. If the seed were to sprout too soon, before the roots were deep enough, it would not survive. It would be weak, unstable, and vulnerable to external conditions. So it is with the manifestations in your life. The delay you perceive is not a rejection, it is preparation. The unseen forces are ensuring that what is being created for you has a strong foundation. What good is a blessing that arrives too soon, before you are ready to receive it? What benefit is there in forcing something that is not yet fully developed? Trust that the unseen is working in your favor, even when nothing appears to be moving. The spiritual realm operates beyond physical limitations. It does not adhere to human concepts of time or logic. While you may be looking for tangible signs, the real work is being done in dimensions beyond your immediate perception. What you desire is already being arranged, but you must align yourself with the certainty that it is coming. Doubt and impatience create resistance. When you question the process, you disrupt the flow. But when you trust, when you surrender the need to see proof, you allow things to unfold effortlessly. There are forces at play that you cannot comprehend with your logical mind. You may not understand why things seem still, why doors remain closed, or why the answers do not come in the way you expect. But the unseen does not operate according to human reasoning. It works with divine precision, ensuring that every detail is perfectly aligned. Sometimes delays are divine protection. Sometimes what seems like an obstacle is actually a redirection to something greater. Consider a person who desires a new opportunity. They pray for it, they visualize it, and they expect it to come immediately. But instead of an open door, they face setbacks. They wonder why things are not happening in their favor. What they do not see is that the right opportunity is still being prepared. Perhaps the perfect job, the perfect connection, or the perfect conditions are still being arranged. If they were to settle for the first thing that appears, they might miss out on the greater blessing that is still unfolding. The unseen forces do not work according to your impatience. They work according to divine timing. This means that things may take longer than you expect, but they will always arrive at the right time. If you can embrace this truth, you will no longer feel anxious about delays. You will no longer need to force outcomes. Instead, you will rest in the knowledge that everything is working exactly as it should. Faith is the key to unlocking the unseen. If you only believe in what you can see, then you are limiting yourself to a very small portion of reality. True faith is knowing that even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is happening. It is trusting in the unseen forces, even when your physical senses tell you otherwise. When you plant a desire in your heart, the spiritual realm immediately begins to work on it. The universe rearranges itself to bring your vision into form. But just as with nature, there is a gestation period. You cannot rush the process any more than you can rush the rising of the sun. The same power that governs the seasons, that causes the tides to rise and fall, that moves the stars in perfect harmony, is the same power that is orchestrating the events of your life. Your role is not to worry about how or when things will happen. Your role is to trust that they already are. When you stop questioning, when you stop doubting, when you stop needing proof before you believe, you become a magnet for miracles. You begin to notice the subtle signs, the synchronicities, the small nudges that indicate things are shifting. Most people give up too soon. They assume that because they cannot see movement, they are not making progress. But just like the seed underground, progress is happening whether you see it or not. If you hold on, if you continue to trust, one day without warning, you will see the evidence of what was always growing beneath the surface. The unseen forces are always working. They are aligning you with opportunities, bringing the right people into your life, and clearing the path ahead of you. Do not let the illusion of stillness make you lose faith. What you seek is already on its way. What you desire is already in motion. The universe is never idle. It is constantly working behind the scenes to bring your vision into reality. So let go of the need to see proof. Let go of the doubt that creeps in when things appear stagnant. Choose to believe in the unseen, for that is where all creation begins. The forces at work in your life are far greater than what you can comprehend. And when the time is right, everything that was once hidden will be revealed, exactly as it was meant to be. What you hold as true in your heart shapes the very fabric of your existence. Your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, dictate the path your life follows. Everything you experience, every event that unfolds, is a reflection of what you have accepted as reality. The world does not happen to you, it responds to you. It mirrors the convictions you carry deep within. This is why you must be deliberate in your assumptions, because they are not passive thoughts, but the very seeds of creation. When you assume something with unwavering belief, you set into motion unseen forces that begin shaping your world to match that assumption. It does not matter whether the assumption is based on physical evidence. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner world, and the unseen always precedes the seen. If you assume lack, struggle, or delay, then life will provide circumstances to confirm those beliefs. But if you assume favor, abundance, and divine guidance, then the universe will rearrange itself to bring those conditions to you. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking. It is not about hoping or trying to convince yourself of something that feels untrue. True assumption is a knowing, a deep and quiet certainty that does not waver even when appearances suggest otherwise. This is the key to transformation. Your reality is not determined by what currently exists, but by what you persistently assume to be true. Consider a person who desires financial prosperity. If they look at their current bank balance and allow themselves to feel discouraged, if they assume that wealth is difficult to attain, then that belief will continue to shape their experience. They will unconsciously make choices that reinforce their assumption of struggle. They may hesitate to seize opportunities. They may overlook possibilities. And they will find evidence everywhere to support their belief in limitation. But if that same person chooses to assume abundance, even before it is visible, they will start to experience subtle yet powerful shifts. Their mind will become attuned to new opportunities. They will carry themselves with confidence, attracting circumstances that align with their assumption of prosperity. The outer world will slowly, then suddenly begin to reflect what they have accepted as true. This is why assumption must be intentional. Many people unknowingly assume the worst. They expect rejection, disappointment, or delays, and so their reality conforms accordingly. But what if, instead, they assumed that everything was always working out in their favor? What if they believed, without doubt, that God was already making a way even when no evidence could be seen? To assume correctly is to live from the end. Instead of waiting for external proof, you must first embody the reality you wish to experience. Feel it, believe it, walk as if it is already done. Do not ask when or how, for the unseen forces do not work by human logic. Simply know that it is unfolding, and let that certainty become your foundation. Faith is nothing more than an unwavering assumption. It is the ability to remain firm in what is unseen, knowing that it must eventually be seen. Every great transformation begins this way. Those who have risen from nothing did not do so by accepting their present conditions. They first assumed greatness, success, or victory long before the world reflected it. They walked in the confidence of an outcome that had not yet materialized, and in time, it was made real. You must do the same. You must assume that God has already provided what you seek. The way has already been made. The doors have already been opened. Even if your senses tell you otherwise, even if circumstances seem unchanged, hold to the assumption that all things are aligning perfectly for you. Live from the end, not in reaction to the present. When you do this, you release the struggle. You stop begging for change and start knowing that change is inevitable. You no longer operate from a place of lack, desperation, or doubt. Instead, you walk with quiet assurance, a deep inner peace that knows all things are being arranged in divine order. Doubt will try to creep in, but it has no power unless you give it attention. The moment you entertain fear or question your assumption, you disrupt the process. This is why persistence is essential. Do not waver between belief and disbelief. Hold fast to your assumption as if it were already fact, because in the unseen realm it already is. God does not work through uncertainty, He responds to conviction. When you assume that He is already making a way, you are aligning yourself with the very power that creates worlds. You are stepping into harmony with the divine, allowing His will to manifest effortlessly in your life. Your assumption is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. What you persistently accept as true will materialize, for the world has no choice but to mirror your inner state. There is no randomness, no accidents, only the perfect unfolding of what you have believed in your heart. So assume boldly, assume that you are already chosen, already blessed, already victorious. Assume that the path is clear, that favor surrounds you, that all things are aligning in your favor, and then watch as life bends to reflect what you have always known to be true. The more you fight against circumstances, the more entangled you become in them. The world you see is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state, and when you resist what is, you are only reinforcing it. You may believe that through effort, struggle, or persistence you can bend reality to your will, but the truth is, your greatest power lies in surrender. Let go and allow the unseen hand of God to work for you. This is not a call to inaction, but to inspired trust. There is a vast difference between forcing an outcome and aligning with the divine flow. When you try to force things, you act from a place of fear and lack. You are saying, I do not believe this will happen unless I make it happen. But when you let go, you declare, I know it is already done. One approach is rooted in doubt, the other in faith. Circumstances are not meant to be wrestled with. They are merely shadows, reflections of what you have accepted within. Trying to change the outer world without first shifting your inner world is like trying to move a reflection in the mirror by touching the glass. It is wasted effort. The only way to alter what is seen is to change what is unseen, and that begins with surrendering the need to control. Think of a river. If you thrash against the current, you exhaust yourself, making little progress. But if you relax and allow the flow to carry you, you will arrive exactly where you need to be with ease. Life operates in the same way. The more you struggle, the more resistance you create. The moment you let go, the current of divine power moves on your behalf. You have been conditioned to believe that effort is required to attain what you want, that you must push, strive, and fight for every blessing. But this is not the way of divine creation. Every true manifestation begins with a state of ease. It is not the frantic striving that brings results. It is the quiet knowing. The moment you release control, you create space for God to move. Imagine someone grasping tightly onto a rope, pulling with all their might, determined to move an immovable weight. Their muscles strain, their breath shortens, but no progress is made. Then, exhausted, they finally let go. And in that instant, the weight is lifted, carried away by forces greater than their own. This is the paradox of surrender. What you let go of, you allow to be transformed. Perhaps you are facing a situation that seems immovable. You have tried everything: effort, persistence, reasoning, strategy, but nothing has changed. That is because you are trying to alter the effect rather than the cause. The cause is always within. If you continue to believe that struggle is necessary, life will provide you with endless struggles. If you assume that ease is your natural state, then solutions will arise effortlessly. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means ceasing to resist the natural flow of divine order. It means understanding that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced. It is stepping back and allowing God to unfold things in perfect timing. The unseen hand of God is always at work, but you must create space for it to move. If you're constantly grasping, controlling, or worrying, you are filling that space with noise, blocking the very blessings you seek. But the moment you release the need to figure everything out, the path becomes clear, the opportunities appear, the answers arrive not through struggle, but through alignment. Consider the seasons. The trees do not force their leaves to grow. They do not strain to produce fruit. They simply exist in alignment with divine order, and in due time everything unfolds as it should. Nature does not wrestle with itself, yet it produces endless abundance. You too are part of this divine rhythm. The same power that moves the tides, that causes the sun to rise without effort, is the same power guiding your life, but you must allow it. Look at the areas of your life where you are pushing, striving, or forcing. Are you trying to make someone love you? Are you struggling to control circumstances that are beyond your reach? Are you anxious over outcomes that have not yet materialized? Recognize that this is resistance, and resistance only creates stagnation. The moment you step back, breathe, and trust, you open the door for transformation. Some of the greatest breakthroughs happen in moments of surrender. It is when you release your grip that what you desire flows effortlessly into your life. The job you wanted, the relationship you longed for, the solution you searched for, all of these things are waiting for the moment you stop wrestling with them. This is the secret known by those who walk in divine favor. They do not chase, they do not force, they do not beg. They assume that what is meant for them will come, and so it does. They rest in the certainty that all things are being arranged for their highest good. And because they do not resist, their blessings arrive with ease. Let go. Trust. Know that God is working even when you cannot see it. The unseen hand moves in ways beyond your comprehension, arranging people, circumstances, and opportunities in perfect alignment. Your only task is to stop resisting, stop striving, and allow the divine flow to carry you. You do not have to force what is already yours. Release your grip on circumstances and watch as life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. The moment you stop wrestling is the moment everything falls into place. The very act of chasing implies that what you seek is separate from you. It suggests distance, a gap between where you are and where your desire resides. But what if that gap is only an illusion? What if everything you long for is already yours, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to align with the reality where it already exists? The world you see with your physical eyes is not the source of your reality. It is merely a reflection of what you accept as true in your inner world. If you continue to believe that your desire is far away, that it requires effort, struggle, or external permission to manifest, then that is precisely the reality you will experience. The more you chase, the more you affirm that it is not yet yours. But the moment you accept, in the depths of your being, that it is already done, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that truth. Everything in creation exists first in the unseen before it appears in the seen. The seed must be planted in the soil before the tree can rise toward the sky. The foundation must be laid before the structure takes form. Likewise, your desires must first be accepted as reality in your imagination before they can materialize in the physical world. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of creation. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to receive. But receiving requires alignment, and alignment requires certainty. If you wish for something, you are acknowledging its absence. If you hope for something, you are admitting doubt. But when you know something is already yours, you carry yourself differently. You no longer seek proof, for you are the proof. You no longer look for signs, for your belief is the only sign you need. Imagine for a moment that you have already received the very thing you desire. How would you feel? How would you walk, talk, and move through the world? Would there be anxiety, doubt, or impatience? No, you would rest in the certainty that it is already accomplished. That feeling, that deep, unwavering knowing, is the key to bringing your desire into form. It is not the one who begs that receives, nor the one who pleads, but the one who assumes. When you assume that something is already yours, you act in accordance with that assumption. And because the outer world must reflect the inner state, your assumption becomes fact. Look at your life right now. Everything in it is a reflection of what you have accepted as true, whether consciously or unconsciously. The relationships you experience, the opportunities that come your way, the way people treat you, all of it is a mirror of what you have assumed about yourself and the world. If you want to change the reflection, you must first change what you accept within. You do not need to struggle to obtain what is already yours. You do not need to convince anyone, prove anything, or exhaust yourself with effort. The universe is not moved by desperation. It responds to certainty. When you truly know that something is yours, you move differently. There is no anxiety, no grasping, no fear of loss. You do not chase because you already possess. Think of a person who exudes confidence, not arrogance, but quiet assurance. They do not need to demand respect, for their very presence commands it. They do not seek approval, for they already know their worth. This is the posture you must take with your desires. They are already yours. Walk as though it is so. Speak as though it is done. Think from the end, not toward it. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something you do not feel. It is about shifting your awareness, stepping into the reality where your desire already exists. Every possibility is already created. Every outcome already exists. The question is not whether it is possible, but whether you will align with it. If you plant a seed in fertile soil, do you dig it up every day to see if it is growing? No. You trust that beneath the surface the process is unfolding. You water it, nurture it, and allow it to take root. The same principle applies to your desires. Once you have assumed them as reality, your only task is to persist in that assumption, to dwell in the feeling of its fulfillment, knowing that it must appear in due time. Doubt is what delays, fear is what obstructs, and impatience is what uproots the very thing you seek to manifest. If you continuously look to the outer world for confirmation, you are placing your faith in appearances rather than in the unseen forces that bring things to life. The moment you stop looking for evidence and start knowing that it is already done, the evidence will appear. Do not allow circumstances to dictate what you believe. Circumstances are simply echoes of past assumptions, remnants of what you previously accepted as true. They hold no real power except the power you give them. The only thing that matters is what you claim is true now. There is no need to strive, no need to beg. Your only task is to receive. But to receive, you must first accept. You must see yourself as already possessing what you seek. You must move, speak, and think as the one who already has it. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is stepping into the version of yourself that has already received. And when you do this, the world has no choice but to conform. Your desire is already written. It has already been prepared for you. Stop searching outside yourself and turn inward. Assume that it is already so, and you will see the world shift to match that assumption. The door is already open. Walk through it with confidence, knowing that what is yours can never be lost. Everything you desire is already within your reach, not because you must chase it, but because it has already been prepared for you. The only thing that separates you from it is the illusion of distance, the false belief that you must struggle, beg, or prove yourself worthy. But the truth is simple. What you assume to be true in your heart must manifest in your world. Faith is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. Resting is an act of trust. The unseen forces are always at work, aligning things in ways you cannot yet perceive. Wrestling with circumstances only blocks the flow of divine power. But when you surrender and assume that your desire is already yours, you make space for it to appear effortlessly. Stop searching outside yourself. The answer is not in the world, but within you. Walk with the certainty that it is done. Speak as if it is already accomplished. Move through life as the one who has already received. And when you do, the world must reflect that truth back to you. Thank you for allowing these words to reach you. May they serve as a reminder that you are never without, never separate, and never lacking. Everything is unfolding in your favor. Rest, trust, and receive.